Hello and welcome to Small Music Scene, the ultimate underground music advocate. As always with this format, I bring you 10 of the best under the radar records spanning all genres from across the world. I review them and hopefully you go check them out. I think that's enough to be said, so before we begin, the small tea of the week goes to Gravelle, the gothic post-punk duo from Glasgow. They brought out the latest single, A Little Death, a few months ago, and it is, as always, quality stuff, so go check that out and go check out the rest of the discography. They are a smashing pair. But now, on with the show. Kicking us off this week, number 1 is Volpe with Lifelines. It's been a long and patient wait for it, but Bathgate's most suave and dapperly dressed musician is finally out with his latest EP, the follow-up to 2020's Terribly Beautiful, and he's excelled and raised the bar here. The blues-infused low-key pieces are, as always, carried front and centre by Luke's trademark deep and deluxe voice. His grand harmonies are so great that they make George Ezra blush. The songs also feature these fantastic, majestic instrumentations and come very rich with an empowering and festival atmosphere that has you totally enraptured. The mature and topical themes resonate with a ripe force through undoubtedly Luke's best writing yet. For example, Freakwave questions why there's so much hate and negativity in this world. It causes nothing but awful misery and hurts lives, and we should make a conscious effort to work together and spread the love. Sit at my table pinpoints the adult direction of, letting any grudge and any ill will go, and putting it to the side and making a fresh start with a bright sense of affectionate optimism. The title track emphasises how much your loved one means to you, getting you through day by day, and Monster digs into how the wrong intended actions can spark future regrets. And finally is Live It, which emotionally hits the hardest of the lot to the point of waterworks, especially if you know the context and behind the making of it, which simply states, make the most of life. It's an all too precious thing that we can't afford to take for granted. Lifelines is an amazing achievement, further proof that Luke Volpe is destined for massive things. I'm proud of him, his fans, friends and family surely are proud of him too, but most importantly Luke, I know your papa would have been proud of you most of all, bud. Number 2 is Pensacola Mist with Lost in Love. So a year ago I came across the then duo spanning Scotland and Northern England and really enjoyed their album Want to Believe. Now here in the present day, as a full blown trio, the sequel is here and holy bleeding heck did they step up their games. Just wall to wall of absolutely stonking, exhilarating pop bangers of the highest degree, with tasty fluorescent synths, rad riffs, catchy beats, a purely radiant ambience that melts your ears while you bust a move and unavoidably dance along. It's a guarantee, it's impossible to sit still, the tunes are so addictive, they have such a dazzling energy to them. And I'm happy that Melissa was recruited full time after a guest showing on the previous record because she is such an excellent singer. Her harmonies are always stellar and she's just a perfect fit for this sound. Not to ignore Oliver's vocal abilities, he was and still is great in his own right. The lyrics are mainly of the romantic kind, and they're often just so sweet and pleasant. So if you want to seduce your crush with some quality music, well, this is your ticket right here. But seriously, Lost in Love is a total buzz, and a serious contender for Best Record of the Year in the synth pop / electro-pop category. Pensacola Mist, they deserve to be bigger, and the three are just too awesome to pass up. Number 3 is Shallow Pools with Daydreaming. So we meet again, Shallow Pools. I've seriously lost track of how many times I've covered the Massachusetts pop quartet under the Small Music Scene banner. I've been following them closely since their debut back in 2018, and they only get better and better, and Daydreaming is their biggest score to date. It's another set of appealing bops on hand here, with sleek melodies, boogieing rhythms, glistening vocals, and super satisfying choruses, plus a cracking cameo from Trey Miller. The words engage you with ease, whether they be tackling, struggles with grudges, proclaiming your carefree love, being afraid to expose your true feelings that lay behind, the all too familiar I feel fine veil, being trapped in a frustrating cycle, and being completely taken over by the harsh weight of heartbreak. As expected, it's another positive result from the group. But after all these EPs, surely the next logical step would be for the Shallow Pools debut album? Just saying, I'd like to see that. Number 4 is Robi Mitch with Dreamer Loser. Oh yeah, Mr. Robi Mitch, the Bristol man was one of my favourite discoveries of 2021, courtesy of his fabulous Future Perfect album, and I'm happy that he's back with a new EP here, a worthy follow-up in my eyes. It's a really good, solid 3-part collection of misty, poppy indie numbers that are memorable and they're immediately captivating straight from the first listen, complete with charming hooks, smooth singing and such, and the words and themes grab you with ease, mainly surrounding being stuck in a depressing rut and you dive deep into your head, thinking about all your wants and dreams and contemplating your life as a whole as you try your hardest to escape from the strain of the real world, even if it's just for a brief period. It's a beautiful wee record, and I implore you all to check out Robi. He's an underrated chap, he's too good to be missed out on. Number 5 is Ruled by Raptors with Silent Sound. The new EP from the alt-rock Geordies is a banging release, to say the least. It's got these rigid, pure slamming rhythms, aggressive riffs, and seriously potent vocals, which all play a major part across the 4 tracks, which also stand tall with great writing, whether it's a cry out and plead out, for revolution, not enough being done to battle the injustice that a lot of the population currently suffer from. They're just sick of it, and the differences need to be made. Or it could be more of a personal subject, like climbing out of rock bottom with a newly enforced focus and motivation in life, after being seemingly alone and in the dark for so long. It's a series of heavy bangers that truly get the job done. Another positive effort from Ruled by Raptors. Alright, coming in hot at number 6 we have Breakup Haircut with Punk Dancing for Self-Defense. The London melodic punk quartet present their debut album after several stressful pandemic-dominated years in the making, and it pays off nicely to give us a fun doozy of a record. The triad of vocals are bursting with a lot of enthusiastic pep, and the storming, pumped-up rhythms are led on by the rapid drumming and bass hums, plus some quite fine dual guitar work, and the choruses are just so catchy. But the key feature here are the highly expressive and engaging lyrics, detailing a ton of relatable issues, particularly for women, like fallouts and their aftermath, standing up for yourself, being image conscious, that desperation to fit in, imposter syndrome, victimisation, misconduct, the uncertainty of your sexuality, the shattering of childhood dreams, just to name a few. And even managed to squeeze in some much appreciated Simpsons references. I love it. Excellent stuff that comes highly recommended. Number 7 is Regressive with On the Wrong Side of History, a stupendous debut EP courtesy of the Luton Trio, dancing juicy, grooving tunes mixing up infectious, melodic dance on a sonic level with an anti-establishment punk attitude, the latter coming especially through the great sly harmonies and, for sure, the lyrics. Condemning those in the Titan Towers for the corrupt political influence, their continuing crippling of the environment, constantly slipping fear and doubt into the current events, thrusting the public's trust in the uncertainty, and in general, draining society of all positivity and human decency. The songs, as touched on earlier with the sound, are so vivid and catchy and get you swinging your hips, with help from the cool beats, pulsing guitar chords, and bloody sublime synths, serving as a deliberately conspicuous contrast to their bold and sharply written content. This is a fantastic first release. I'm already a huge fan of this band, and I'm excited to see them pump out more ASAP. Number 8 is Blood with Bye Bye. 2 weeks in a row featuring a Philadelphia act by pure coincidence, but the 6-piece are the first American act to be signed to the ever-growing and already fairly stacked Permanent Creeps label, and this is how you make an impression. Smashing out of the gates and scratching the itch within seconds is the delicious combo of indie punk and post-punk that quotes the song is defined by unpredictable, constantly switching tempos, dominating guitar chords making their presence felt, hard-going beats, a rad dashing of saxophone in spots, infused vocals, and solid lyrics covering the plight of working-class folks. Bye Bye is an ideal starting point for this group, and it would be a surprise to see them rise to some sort of decent prominence sooner than later. Number 9 is Conor Heafey with Sunk Cost. So whether it's part of Blush Club, working with Josephine Sillers, or on his lonesome, Conor Heafey has been a pillar of the Scottish local scene for as long as I can remember, and his latest record is a stark reminder of why he's such an efficient guy. It's a very nice EP of tracks, basically blending elements of indie rock with bits of pop and folk, carried by a strong personal sense of sincerity. Conor's singing is prominently heartfelt throughout the lot, and predictably, the same applies to the writing, from the exhausting task of trying to keep your loved ones happy, to that longing for another one's support in the middle of hard times, to feeling out of place and just wanting to belong in this overcrowded world with some sort of purpose. Topped off by regularly pleasing guitar-helmed melodies, especially the addictive instrumental piece in the midst of things, this is an excellent result from an artist who I believe deserves more credit. And finally at number 10 we have Turmallina with Aurora. The first Brazilian act to make the bill here in the small music scene, the Sao Paulo shoegaze outfit do a wonderful job in this album, shining with a really pretty, glittery atmosphere that is never extinguished. Performance wise, you get lovely, pure singing, terrific silky smooth guitars, calm bass lines and nice drumming, all fused together effectively. It's an absolute dream to experience, and not just once, but over and over again in repeated listenings. It's simply exquisite. And that about does it for this week. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Remember to check out all 10 acts that have been featured in this week's show. Also go check out Gravelle, of course. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on Instagram. You can check out the Spotify playlist, Small Music Scene Volume 1, featuring a song from every band that's been covered on the show so far. And if you have any submissions, the email is smallmusicreviews@hotmail.com. Remember, demand is pretty high and it's getting a bit ridiculous, so you know, try and send in advance as much as you can, and hopefully I can find a spot. So, but until next week, this has been Small Music Scene, the ultimate underground music advocate. Cheerio.